Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So good to see you. Today's
Great
June
to see
4th,
you.
2026. It's one day after the election. Tell us who you are, your connection to SC, and what's happening.
Yeah. Great to see you. My name is Levin. I'm an associate teaching professor of writing in the Dornsife School here at USC. And what's happening is that just a day ago, we won our election.
What percentage?
We won, we had a 70% yes vote, so an overwhelming win. We had high turnout, just under 70%, so faculty showed up and they made their voices heard.
So tell me, how long have you been organizing at SC, and why did you get involved?
Yeah, I started a long time ago, just not too long after I started here in 2011. I would say union organizing is in my blood. I was lucky enough to be raised by a dad who himself came from a working class background, a union background, and even though he decided to pursue medicine, he was a full scholarship kid, at Wesleyan and then NYU Med School, and fully intended to be, a cardiologist to the stars and make millions of dollars. But, as a person in his 20s in New York City, his eyes got open to, what was going on in the city, lots of struggles, became even more conscious of the way that working people, produce everything that we all enjoy, and yet often don't enjoy the benefits of that production themselves, get screwed over, their health gets compromised, often can't, afford the basics of life. And I think that made him do something different with his life. And so from that point on, he decided, nope, cardiology is not for me. I want to be a doctor for working people like the people I grew up around. And so he became an occupational medicine doctor, someone who treats working people who, whose patients were by and large union members themselves. And so he instilled in me the idea that you should always fight for working people, and then wherever you are, doesn't matter if you're a doctor, a writer, a lawyer, a machinist, organize, get together and advocate for yourselves, and everything will be better because of that.
Yeah, working families, right? So
Absolutely.
families could. So tell us, the vote came in 70%. Today you're going to be doing something. You have this incredible background. What is your dad's name again?
Oh, his name is Steve Levin.
Steve Levin.
Yeah. And I cast my vote in his memory because he did instill in me a love for the fight for justice. So here we are.
And he passed how long?
He passed in 2012.
Okay.
But every time.
Right after you started organizing.
Yeah, right after I moved to LA, and I've been organizing a long time actually. But that's another story. But I've actually been the benefit of being a union member myself, because I before I taught here, I taught at the University of Michigan, where we did have a union, and we had a union contract, and so as a faculty member, I could plan my life. I knew that I was going to get X raises per year because we won them at the negotiating table. I knew that I wasn't going to get a random email on a Friday saying, oh, sorry, we're changing your benefits, So I've gotten to, unlike many of my colleagues, I've actually been a unionized faculty member, so I understand personally the union difference.
So when did you teach at Michigan? And
I was at Michigan. I went to grad school there, so I was hired as a lecturer there right after I finished grad school. So I was there just briefly, right before I got the job here.
And so tell us about today's June 4th, the day after. Has the president and the board of trustees, are they accepting the vote?
No, disappointingly, if perhaps not surprisingly, they're not. They've requested review of the decision to give us an election in the first place, right? Which is disappointing in and of itself, because when you think about it, why wouldn't a school that, purports to respect open dialogue and free exchange of ideas and things like that, why wouldn't they support an election, right? Where everyone has a chance to make their voices heard. But, just as they tried to block the election originally, they are now trying to basically throw out the results of the election. But, we're here today because we believe in democracy, and we believe that USC is and should be an institution that rests on these fundamental principles of democracy and open dialogue and fair elections, right? So we're here today. We'll be delivering a letter signed by hundreds of faculty members to Bovard, to President Kim's office, to remind them of what USC stands for, right? And remind them that we have every intention of getting to the bargaining table, right? Because it is not fair, to throw out the votes of faculty members, right? Especially after USC administration spent months telling us to go vote, right? We have so many emails and so many texts, from the provost's office, rightly encouraging people to get out and vote, right? As they should have. But it's not fair to then say, no, we're not going to accept the results of the election just because it didn't go their way, right?
Here's the question.
Yeah.
If the votes had come in against the union, would they have filed the same complaint?
No, certainly not. And they actually said that already. In one of their, anyone can go to the provost has a website on faculty unionization. They issued a note just before the election saying that if a majority of us vote yes, they will be, they will be requesting review. So they would not, if a majority of faculty had voted no, they would have let the results stand. And that's in writing. Anyone can go to the website and see that.
So you're going to deliver this letter, and it's signed by how many? Tell us about how many people signed. And
last I saw, it was about 265 or so faculty. I want to make clear that this is not, this is just a fraction of the number of faculty who voted yes in the election, who support unionization and things like that. We didn't attempt to, have every single yes voter signed because we want to do this quickly, right? The reason to do this quickly is because we want to let them know that we're not deterred, by the legal challenge or the legal appeal. We've been there before. They've been fighting this union legally from the very beginning. So, we got this number of signatures in basically one day, so, and as anyone knows, this is the summer, right? Many faculty don't work in the summer. They go on vacation, they're scattered. So the fact that we got, 260 people in one day to sign a public letter to the president, and dozens of us will be here today to deliver it, just shows you how much support we have for this effort and how serious people are about getting down to business, and bargaining with the university and just being serious,
So, and I think yesterday you got an email, right, it was signed by who? About that they're going to request review because
yes.
of what was it?
Right. So the email yesterday came from the provost's office. It also came from, I'm forgetting his exact title, but I think it's Stephen Shapiro, who's who's basically the provost counterpart for health sciences, because we do have clinical faculty in our unit. It was a very brief email. Interestingly, it noted that, that we won, that a majority voted for union representation. They didn't include the numbers, of course, because that would have indicated how overwhelmingly our yes vote was, right? How overwhelming a 70% victory is when you think about it. So it was a very brief email just saying we have some legal matters to look into, so we're requesting review of this decision and we'll keep you posted. Very brief email, very different in tone from the many emails we received during the election period, which had all kinds of graphics and things like that, encouraged everybody to go out and vote, make your voice heard. None of that anymore. All of a sudden, now that we've won, this is a very serious election we need to look into.
Okay, well, that's in a couple. You're going 3 p.m. today, so
3 p.m. today.
We'll be documenting,
Yes.
and we're looking forward to seeing what happens. Thank you, Kate.
We are. Thank you.